So previously we have learned about herbs, shrubs and trees. And I hope you remember this table that we created in our previous video. The first plant was herbs, the second was shrubs, and the third was trees. Yes. And these were the characteristics that we have studied in details along with pictures and example in our previous video. Now we move on to the different parts of a plant. So here we have a plant and we can see clearly that the plant is divided into two major parts. One which is called the shoot system and the other which is called the root system. Now talking about the root system, it is basically the part which remains below the ground. Now we will study more about root system in our next videos. For now, we will only concentrate on the shoot system, which is the aerial part of the plant or the above ground part of the plant. Now the shoot system consists of leaves, branches, and these leaves and branches are borne on the stem. Yes. So this is our main stem, and from the stem there arises branches, and also from the branches arise our leaves. Now this plant is very young, so it does not have any flower or fruits. But we do know very well that plants do bear flowers, fruits, and inside the fruits we have our seeds as well. So we will study more about them in our next classes. For now, let us study the most important part of the plant, which is leaves. Yes. Now leaves can be of different types. Most of them are green, while others are not so green. Again, we have leaves which are very small and leaves which are very large and have different patterns on them. But all these different leaves have similar structure. Isn't it very surprising that all these diverse varieties of leaves have a very similar structure? So let us understand the structure of leaves first. So we will start with the stalk that connects the leaves with the stem or the branches. So these stalks are known as the petiole of the leaf. The petiole connects the leaf blade to the stem or the branches. Now after petiole, we move on to study the leaf lamina. Now what is leaf lamina? If we exclude the petiole, then what remains in a leaf is known as the leaf lamina, which means that if this is an entire leaf, then if we exclude this stalk part, then the entire part of the leaf is known as the leaf lamina. This entire part is known as the leaf lamina, while this part below the leaf lamina is known as the petiole or the leaf stalk. So this entire thing is the leaf lamina. Now inside our leaf lamina, we have several things. For example, this mid vein or the midrib. This mid vein or the midrib again spreads out to form several secondary veins. Again, you might see in certain leaves that there are veins arising from the secondary vein as well, and those veins are known as tertiary veins. Again, if veins arise from the tertiary veins as well, then we will call them quaternary veins and so on. So in leaf lamina we have this midrib, and from the midrib arises several secondary veins, and from the secondary veins can arise tertiary veins as well. So this was our midrib or the primary vein or the middle vein of the leaf. Now after the veins, we come to study the leaf margins. See, this is the leaf margin. This is the margin of the leaf. Just like you draw margin on your notebook, just like that we have margins on leaves as well. So this is the leaf margin. Now one thing you can notice that different plants have different kinds of lamina, different kinds of leaf margins and different shapes as well. but their typical primary structure remains the same. For example, here we can see this is a very different shape of a leaf. This is a papaya leaf, right? But again we can see that there are midveins, and from the midveins arise, or the midribs, and from the midribs arise secondary veins as well. And again we have our leaf lamina and also margin of the leaf, and at the back we can find that there is a petiole as well. Now this is a compound leaf which you will study in your higher classes, but most leaves have the basic typical structure that we have already studied about. So now we know the structure of leaves. But what is the importance of having leaves on plants? Yes, leaves are very important, and for that we are going to study the functions of leaf. I am very sure that you have already learnt about the most important function of leaves. And what is that? Yes, we are talking about the process by which plants prepare their own food. And how does that happen? Let us see that. So first of all, we will need sunlight. And where do we get that from? Yes, of course, from the sun. So sun gives us sunlight. But is that enough? No. We need something else as well. Like a gas. Yes, the gas here is carbon dioxide. And what else do we need? We need something like water. Yes, we need water. So plants can prepare their own food utilizing carbon dioxide and water when sunlight is present. Right. But aren't we missing on something else? Yes, we are. There is a very important thing that plants have. And what is that? That is the magical pigment, green pigment known as chlorophyll. Now when sunlight is present, then the green plants, the chlorophyll containing plants can prepare their own food utilizing carbon dioxide and water from the surrounding. And this process is known as, yes, it is photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis is the preparation. So it is the preparation of food in the presence of light. But what do we yield from photosynthesis? From photosynthesis, we get oxygen. Yes, but oxygen is actually the byproduct of photosynthesis. But you know what? This oxygen is actually the byproduct of photosynthesis. The plant does not perform photosynthesis for the sole purpose of giving out oxygen. It is just a product that is formed along with the main product, which is, yes, the plant food. And the plant food is formed in the form of carbohydrates. So here we understand the most important function of leaves, photosynthesis, where the green chlorophyll containing leaves utilize carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight to perform photosynthesis. And the products of photosynthesis are carbohydrates as well as oxygen. So now we know about photosynthesis, the main important function of leaves. And from this, we come to the next most important function of leaves. And what is that? Let us see. Yes, that is the exchange of gases by leaves with the surroundings. And how is that done? Or what kind of gases do leaves exchange with the surroundings? Of course, we studied just now about photosynthesis. And what did we study? That plants take in carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. And what do they release as a byproduct of photosynthesis? Yes, it is oxygen that is being released as a byproduct of photosynthesis from the leaves. So this was about photosynthesis. Is there any other kind of gas that plants do exchange? Actually, the gases are very similar, but the process is different. And what is that process? After all, plants are living beings also, so they do need to respire as well. And that is why, just like any other living organism, plants do take in oxygen for their respiration, and in turn they give out carbon dioxide, just like any other organism. And this process is known as respiration. So there are minute pores on leaves which are known as stomata, which help the plant or which help the leaves to perform this exchange of gases with the surroundings. First of all, for photosynthesis, where carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out. And secondly, for respiration, where oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. So we have already seen the most important function of leaves. So let us do a quick revision. So the first function was, yes, it was photosynthesis. And photosynthesis was the process by which autotrophic plants, which contain chlorophyll, they prepare their own food in the form of carbohydrates, or you may say sugar. But I am sure that you are very much aware of what carbohydrates are. They are simple sugars, right? So plants prepare their own food. Green leafy plants prepare their own food in the presence of sunlight, utilizing carbon dioxide and water, and they form carbohydrates along with a byproduct which is known as oxygen. This oxygen is what we take in, we breathe. So you know how important plants are because they provide us the most important thing. Now moving on to our second function, which is the exchange of gases. So leaves have these minute pores which are known as stomata, and through the stomata the leaves exchange gases with the surroundings during two major processes. And what are they? Yes, photosynthesis, where carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out, and the next one was respiration, where oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. Now there are two other functions of leaves as well. Actually, there are many functions of leaves, but we will be limited to the next two functions only. So the next function is storage of food. Have you seen onions, onion bulbs or garlics? Onion bulbs are not actually fruits. They are actually the leaves, the fleshy leaves which hold all the food material. Similarly, in garlics, the leaves, the scaly leaves, they become very fleshy and they hold the food material, they store the food. And so here we can see that some leaves in certain plants also perform the function of storage of food. Now we come on to the last function of our leaves. And what is that? That is transpirational and gutational water loss. Transpiration and guttation are two very interesting topics. Transpiration is very similar to the process of our sweating. We sweat to cool our body temperature. Just like that, when exposed to a certain amount of heat, then plants do lose water in the form of transpiration just to cool down their body. And this process has very much significance. Just imagine that you are watering your mango tree at the base, but the water is reaching to the tip of the plant as well. And how is that possible? That is possible because of transpiration. And but what about guttation? Suppose you have overwatered your plant. Also, there is no sun today and the weather is very humid. Then how will transpiration occur? Transpiration will occur, but it will be negligible. So plant has to lose some water in order to survive. Otherwise, it cannot stand whole day in a wet soil. Now there comes guttation. Guttation is the loss of excess water from the various parts of the plant. So leaves also perform the function of transpiration and gutational water loss. So that's all about today's video. Thank you.